So basically we will be creating on a movie review systems, and where I will be explaining you how to create CRUD operations, and we will add some data on the database MySQL using API, and we will delete it, and we will also update it using the different operations that are provided by the Spring Boot. So I have already created one GitHub repo for that. You can clone this repo, and you can do coding along with me. So let's get started. So I have opened the Spring initializer, where I have used like Java versions and Spring as in 3.5.0, and I will be named it the project group as Deep Developer, and artifact name I will be kept as movie review system, and the package jar file and Java version I will be using 17. So to work with the CRUD operations, first we need to create a different API. For that we need Spring Web dependency. Next dependency is like we need to connect this with the MySQL database. So for that we need MySQL driver. And next dependency is that after connecting to database we need to persist the data on the MySQL. So for that we need Spring Data JPA. And lastly we need one dependency called Lombok. So that will reduce the boilerplate code. Means we no need to explicitly write getter and setter method, but just by annotations we can take use of getter and setter method. So I will generate this package and I will open in the Intellij IDEA. So I have already generated this, and let me open the Intellij IDEA. So here we see like all the packages are being imported properly, and there is one application dot properties file. So here the application name is there. So before going ahead with the creation of different modules and other configurations, we'll just write down the code to connect with the MySQL database. So it is the application name. If you want you can keep this or you can remove it. And next like we need like MySQL a URL, so that we can connect to with this MySQL with the Spring Boot application. So for that we have called spring dot data source dot URL. Here it is in the session you are getting a JDBC URL for the database. So let me write down the JDBC URL. It is JDBC colon MySQL colon localhost, and this is on 3306 port. MySQL is running on my local system on 3306 port. So next you can mention your own database name. So I will be named it as Deep Developer and CRUD. This is the database name. Now database is created. Now we need to database configuration is mentioned, and now we need to write down the code or the key to for the username and password. So dot username, my username is root, and spring dot data source dot password, data source dot password is also root. I will suggest you to code along with me, and if you face any issue you can ask on the comment sections. Now this is the statement to connect MySQL database using this username and password. And whatever the SQL query that will be running, if we want to show that on the display, so for that we have spring dot jpa dot show SQL. So SQL will keep it as true. And there is one configuration is that like whatever the entity will be creating, table will be creating, if you want that the Spring will automatically create those table on the database. So for that we have a configuration called spring dot hibernate dot ddl auto. See, if you see that there are some functions are coming, drop the schema, truncate, update. So what we will do, we will use the update the schema if necessary. Means if the schema or the table is already present, so it will just modify it, and if the table is not present, the Spring Boot will create a new table. So as we'll be working in the movie review systems, so first we'll be creating an entity. So just a minute, be removing this. So for that we'll be create one package called entity, entity. So entities package is created. Now we need to create one movie class. So it will be a entity class. So for that we use annotation Intillij. If we do control space, the suggestion will come. So entity is from jakarta.persistence.entity that we have added now, that JPA, that dependency, from that it is coming. So and it is a table also, so we will be using table. And if we want to name that table explicitly, so there is a name attribute is there. So name will be named as movie. Now movie name is this table will be created, but this will be have some kind of fields. So what are the fields? So I will be having private, integer. So there will be must one ID will be there, and after that the movie will be have some title, what we can say as a name. Then movie should have some release year date, so it will be a date attribute, sorry, date data type. So data type is coming from java.util. So what we can do, release, release, the release date or the release year. Next we have another attribute, we can make this as rating. Next attribute we can make this as comment, so we can comment down about the movie. So for example, maybe comment comment. So these are the, by default these are the fields in the database, or these are the attributes we can say. So there will be a primary key for this particular movie. So for that I'll be make ID as a primary key, so that ID is there. And how this value will be generated, I want ID will be generated automatically. So if we do control space, so generated strategy you can mention, strategy what we can mention, generated type dot identity, and we can mention all the others as a columns. So there is a attribute called column annotations. You can explicitly name that column also, but I will be keeping it by default whatever it is. Just write down the, so now this attribute has been created, but here the getter and setter method we will not explicitly generate. Instead what we will do, we have setter, it is coming from Lombok. We have getter, getter, and we will create all argument constructor. So all argument constructor and no argument constructor, so those things are created. So now it is done. Now entity file is created. Now next step is that we'll be creating on a repository interface, so that we can take use of JPA repository. So let me create that. So I'll be create one first packages called repository, 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 and I will be creating one, it will be interface actually, it will be a movie repository, repository. So this movie repository will be extending JPA repository. You can extend JPA repository, CRUD repository, any repository you can extend. I will show you that also. JPA repository. So you see JPA repository is accepting 2 argument, or T and ID. T means table. We can mention the entity name here. What is the table name or the entity name? It is the movie. So movie is coming from entity, and the data type of the ID. ID is of integer type. So here integer is mentioned. If you go to this JPA repository, I have done the right click, control right click. Just a minute. Yeah, I have done the control right click. If you see that JPA repository is extending list CRUD repository. If you go to list CRUD repository, and it is extending CRUD repository. So here all these method are there. I will come to this that say this method are there where we can automatically, no need to create our custom operation to save the data on the database. So we can directly take use of this. We'll be using later on in the service class. So this interface has been created. So as it is a repository class, so I will annotate with the repository. Now repository is created. So now we need to take use of this repository interface. So for that I will be creating one service class. Service class means actually where the business logic will be implemented. Business logic means we will be having some operation like to update, fetch, delete, or the custom type of validation, everything. That means what are the main core logic of the program that will be written on the service class. So I will be annotate I will be created one package called service. Next I will be write down as a movie service class. I will be create one movie service class. So as it is a service class, I will annotate with the service. So service class is annotated with the service. So we'll do the implementation of this service class later on. Wait a minute. So before that, so here our objective is to create a CRUD operation. So where we'll be creating one movie object, like we will be add a movie review. We will get a movie review details by ID. We will get all the movie details. We will delete movie by ID, update a movie details. So this these 5 functions we need to create. So we have this URI, right, /movie /add. So let me create one controller where we will be having all these API details. Just a minute. We'll be come to this service class after that. So we'll be create one package called controller, CONTROLL. Yeah. So if you are still watching the video, I request you please subscribe to the channel, and if you face any issue, you can ask on the comment section. So we'll be create one class called movie controller, CONTROLLER. So as it is a controller, we will be annotated with the REST controller, and it is handling all the RESTful API, and we will be mapping this as a movie. This is the parent mapping, we can say. So whatever the API is, that it will be like appended or prepended by movie. So if you see the movie /add, then movie /get, movie /all, so movie /delete. So that's why we have, instead of writing movie a lot of time, we will be using here only. Now we need to create a controller one by one. So first controller is that add a new movie. So we'll be creating one add API. Just a minute. It will be a public movie add. For example, add movie. We come to this. It will be just now. You can mention it as a return null, RTURN return null. Okay. This while we'll be adding any new record. So there is a mapping is called post mapping. So if you type down mapping, so there is a called post mapping. So we can map this with what we named it as an /add. So it will be a /add. So we have mapped this, but how the data will be passed? It will be passed from the Postman, right? So whatever this data we have passed, this title, release date, comment. So those are the fields of movie. So we need to pass this from the MySQL as in JSON and that will be stored as a request body. So here request body is there, and it is of which type, whatever the details we are passing, it is in movie type. And the post mapping we have added. Now we need to call up functions. Just a minute. For example, here it is a new movie. So here we need to create some functions or the call some functions where this movie will be added on the database. So that functions will do the details, and after that, after adding, it will be return that particular movie. So and we will get that on the Postman. So we will be returning that movie. So before that, as I said, all the custom logic will be written on this service class. So for example, as of now, assume that implementation or the service logic is already there, and we will it is there on the movie service class, for example. So what we will do, we will be creating one object of movie service class. So movie service. So movie service, and we will inject this value. So I will use auto add. So for example, this is movie service is there, so I will be calling this movie service on there. Add movie method is there, assume like the add movie is method is there, and we are passing this movie. So once we pass this movie, that this add method will automatically add the value, but here add method is not there. So if you hover over this add method, it's showing that create an method add movie in movie service. So I will click on this. So if we see, this movie service method is being created, but from that we will not be able to add that movie on the database. So as I mentioned, that movie repository, as I showing previously, that they have save method save all from the CRUD repository. So what I will do, I will assume that this is already there. So again I will be using the object of movie repository. So private movie repository. So as this movie repository already contain all the methods, so that's why I am creating the movie repository object. So we will auto add this. Now, so if we click on this movie repository, if I then do dot, and you see this all methods are coming. I will just put this just a minute. Yeah. If we do control and space, yeah, save all, equals count, delete method is there. So we will be looking for some method which will be able to save that particular details. So I'll check what is that method called. So yeah, if you see, is a save method is there. So if you click on save and movie, if we go to this, click on this save, so you see this is coming from the CRUD repository. We'll be using all this method one by one. So it is saved and it returned. If we check the return type of this save method, so it is accepting one entity in this argument within bracket, and it is returning that S type, means generic type. So it will be returning a movie type. So movie type is there, movie. So we can mention it as a new movie, and we will be returning this movie. Okay, so now first task is done. So we already created one method called add movie. So I will go back to this controller. Okay, so first from that Postman will we get the object, and we will be calling this movie service add method. This add method will internally call the save method of this repository, and it will be saved to the database. Now this one post mapping is done. Next is that will be get a movie review details by ID. So there will be one get mapping, which will be get will be the URI, and with that ID will be get one method movie details. So for that I will be creating one method with return type movie, get movie by ID. so it will be returning as of now null. So if we check there is a get mapping is there, get mapping, and so this is the URI and ID will be passed. So this ID should be mapped with the path variable. So I mentioned the path variable, like previously we have used request body, so whatever we are passing on JSON, so it is mapped with the body. Now whatever we will pass on the URI, I will show that. So ID integer dot, so integer okay, integer ID, it is showing error, okay, not patch mapping, it is a path variable, path variable, okay, path variable. So again we will be using calling this particular movie service. So will be control C, so not new movie, here will be the just movie, and we will be calling this, will be returning this fetched movie. Now this will be calling some function called get movie from ID, and will be pass the ID. But this get movie from ID is not created on the movie repository, movie service. So what we will do, we will do hover over this and create a method on the movie service. So I will be create the same, call the same thing, but here it will be not the new movie, it will be just movie, and I will update this. And here we are not saving, so we will be pass here ID, and instead of save method will be check if there is any method which is there which will be get the details of a movie. So if we check one by one, so exist by ID, if we check the return type on the right hand side as well. So there is a one function called find by ID. If we check this find by ID, here it is showing optional movie, so it is returning a movie optional object. So from that optional we can get so it is an optional object. So what we will do, optional optional object, it is returning. So I will do import optional. So from that optional object the get method is there. If you see this get method, everything it will come. So get method is there, so it will be returning an movie object. So second approach, second API also we have created. Now let's get the third API where we will be fetching all the movie details. So it is also a get API. So just I will quickly copy this because we are fetching, so it will be get API, and this API name is all. So instead of this it will be just all, so it will be get all movie, and it will be returning because it is all movie, so I should store in list, right? So here we are using list. So get all movie, path variable is not required here because we are not fetching a specific movie details. So here return type will be, we are just modifying it, everything looks similar only, and it will be a movie list, and it will return a movie list. And here no ID is there, so it will be calling get all movies, movies. So we will be creating one get all movies functions, one again on the movie service. So again we will be copy this something like that, but here it will be, we'll check whether there is a function which will be returning all movie details or not. So if we do, so find, if you see that find all function is there, which is returning list of movies. So we'll be using find all, and here it is not an optional type, it is a list type, and it will be a movie list, and we are returning the movie list. So please subscribe to the channel and like the videos as well, and if you face any issue meanwhile, and if you have any doubt, you can comment down it. Okay, next, the get mapping is done. Now I want to delete a particular record, so I want to use the delete URI, and I will pass the ID. So for example, where we are passing the ID, so I will copy this above one, and first I will change that mapping, so it is not a get mapping, so instead of that it's a delete mapping. So delete mapping, so this is modified, and this URI is delete/1, so 1 is the ID, so instead of get it will be a delete, and ID we are already passing, so we can modify it delete movie, and if you delete the movie, so it will not return anything, so I'll do it as a void. So it is not returning anything, so there is no return statement. So from here I'll be calling like delete a movie, and this GitHub link I have already provided in the description section. You can like clone it, and you can get look on the code as well. If you like unable to do it right now, you can do later on as well. So delete a movie, so I will be create this particular method in movie service again. So I will be check like from the movie repository if there is any method which can delete or not. So if we see there is a method, if there is a delete by ID, ID is not there. So there is a on delete method, but it is accepting a movie entity. If we see delete movie entity, so not an issue, we can provide the movie entity as well. So for example, we have provided the movie entity, for example, assuming like that. The how we will get the movie ID, what is the movie object using ID. So using ID movie object will be get from here, right? Find by ID, here option is passing now, so we will get it movie object. So just I will copy it, so it will be a movie object is control Z, so we can directly copy it. Yeah, so we will paste it, then we are passing it to the delete method. Now this delete functionality is also being done. Now what is the other functionality is that update. So we have done this C for create. Just a minute, I will show you. C for create, so we are creating new movies. Then CR for read, so we are reading this using the ID. U for update we will do it right now. Then D for delete operation is also we are doing. Now it's time to update the record. So let me copy this anything. So to update a record, we will have the put mapping. So don't be confused, like get mapping, delete mapping, post mapping is there to add a new record, and put mapping is to update. And if the record is not present, then it will be create assumed it will be work same as a put mapping, same as a post mapping. So what is that API name? Update and ID, update/ID. So it will be an update, ID is already there, so we have passed that ID, so it will be an update movie. Not delete movie, it will be update movie. And if we updated the movie, so it will be return the updated details as well. So and while if we try to update the details, we need to pass the updated value as well, right? So title, release date. So for that we will be having request body. So I will be copy this thing, request body, comma request body. So we'll be directly returning the updated value. Instead of that, I will copy this previous one, copied it. So will not it will be not a new movie, it will be an updated movie. So update updated movie, and it will be not add movie, it will be an update movie, and we need to pass id as well as the movie as both of the things. So this method is not there, so we'll be create, and we'll be calling this movie repository, and we'll see if there is any method which can accept these two argument or not. So if we see update, there is no method which can directly update it. So what we will do, instead of we are directly updating it, means we are getting that id. First we will check from this id if the movie is not there or not. For example, if the movie is not there, then we will be directly creating a new movie, so which will be acting something like that, add movie. And for example, if id is there, if the movie is there, then we will be modifying the details. So how to do that? First we will be checking if the movie is there or not from id. So to do that, so we'll check if it's a movie optional, right? So it's a movie optional is there, optional movie is created, so it's a movie optional. So if the movie is optional, okay, just a minute, as of now I will just return null as of now. If the movie optional is present, so is present is method is to check whether the values is there or not, if the movies is there or not. So if the values is there, then we will something. If the values is not there, if it is not there, then what we will do, we will be creating a new movie. So we can directly copy it and return this. And if the record is already there, movie is already there, first we'll fetch the movie. So how to fetch that? So what we will do, we can do is then movie updated movie. How to fetch that? From movie optional we can get the value. So now values is there. Now we will be update each and every details one by one, and after that we will be returning updated value, updated movie. So before that, updated movie dot set comment, then set id, set name, those things we'll do. Just a minute. So set comment, set rating, set title, and we need to pass the value as well. And set comment, set title, and set date, right? Where it is set release here, right? So this comment will be set from whatever we have passed from the JSON. So we'll be doing movie dot get comments, here movie dot get title, and here movie dot get rating, here movie dot get release here. So now everything is completed. Now it's time to test the application. So let me run the applications. I'll be go to this main file. So before this, whatever the database we have used, deep developer CRUD, it is created or not. So I'll go to this MySQL. So save control V, deep developer CRUD. So deep developer CRUD is not created, there is some spelling mistake. Okay, I will do CRUD instead of CRUD. CRUD I will do it, then I will check if it is there or not. You see that deep developer CRUD is created, and here no table is there. So let's run the application. This is not required, this is controller is required. I will do this, right click and run application. So I have stopped that compilation because there was an issue in this update method. So if we clearly observe this, so when after updating the details, okay, after updating the comments, just a minute. So after updating the comments, title and rating, we are just returning this value to the user or to the console, we can say, but we are not changes this to the database. So what we can do to changes to the database, we will call this movie repository dot save and this updated details. Now it will be fine. So let's again rerun the application. The application got started on this 880 port, and before that I want to show you one thing. You see that there is one SQL statement or the printed and like created table movie and this rating, descriptions, primary key. So we'll check whether this movie is table is actually created or not. So I will refresh this DB. So click on refresh. So we see there is one table is created movie, and if we check it, we'll check that whether any content is there or not. So as of now there is no content in the DB. So let's open the Postman and we'll hit the API one by one. So you can directly copy the curl. Okay, you can directly copy the curl like that, Control C, and you can directly paste it here. How to do that? You can do import, and once you click on this import, a pop-up will come here. Mention a paste SQL to import. So then you can the paste the curl here. Then it will be automatically imported. So if I have just pasted it, so it's see like this is already being imported. So this is the other method is there, and it is already being imported, and you can just what is that? You can just hit the API. So I will just go to this first API. So let's open the controller. So first API is add. So go to this add API. I have it is a post mapping, so I have used post and add. So title, release date, comments, everything I have used. So let's click on this send. So request is sending. We'll check the log as well, what it is showing. So as of now log is not started. Yeah, now it is started. So it is what it is showing, some statement is showing. So this so and completed initialization. Now this kind of it is the servlet is now created. Now it is showing that hibernate insert into movie comments. So one record is inserted. So we'll go to this C. So we can see this one record is inserted. So we'll go to this database and I'll refresh that DB. So one record is inserted on the table. So this title is Robino, and we can let's create another record for our purpose. So you may name it as final destination, release year you can mention it as 2025 and 5 on at 15th day. Rating we can mention it as 5. Popular movie, and will hit the API. Once you hit the API, then again the another record will be created. So see the ID2 is created. So ID2 is automatically generated because in this movie entity type we have mentioned generated type identity. Next, what is the API? Next API is like get by ID. So we'll go to this a new tab. So get API, get by ID. So 2 is that whatever what is 2 for ID2, the movie is final destinations, right? So we'll be hitting this API. Now we can see all this query, whatever the queries is hitting. So you can see select comments, release year, where id equal to Postman. So this API is being hit. So now we see this id is getting fetched. Next API is that get all the movie details. So slash all. So movie slash all. So as of now we have two records. So this is the get API, and if we see go there, you see that from movie it is select movie id comment. So all the SQL operation it's showing on the comment, showing on the terminal, and the two record is being fetched. Why it's so? Because in this property file we have mentioned show SQL, and we want to delete a movie, so delete by id. So for that I'll go to this mapping will be delete. So there are all the lot of mapping is there, so we'll be delete of mapping, and we want to delete one record. So with the id, not one record, it is the id. So id, what is the id for? Id is the nice for the Robin Hood movie. So delete operation is showing 200 status. So delete operation is done. So we'll refresh it, and we'll see that first one is removed. Now what is left? Now update is left. So update we need to pass all the details and with the id. So we'll go to this Postman. So for example, we want to update this record. So id is the 2. So first we will be passing the 2, and rating 5 is the release year is the. So rating I want to, instead of I want to add these details. So nice movie, instead of popular movie it will be nice movie, and 10. So let's wait it. So I'll do the send, and also title also got changes. So previously title is the final destinations, and title I have changes to Robin Hood. So the updated details are coming. So let's refresh this. You will see 2 is there, and all these details will be rating will be 10. This popular movie, instead of popular movie it will show nice movie. Let's refresh it. So I have refreshed it, and you see this it is changes to Robin Hood, 10 rating, nice movie. So doing that we have done all the CRUD operations.